the Land and Bussy program. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have the Nate Kilbert program. Coach Kilbert ready to go. Ladies first, Lady Braves basketball first. The Lady Braves coming off a tough Texas trip as they will get ready for the Florida teams. But there's been a schedule change for this week coming up. We're going to talk all about that when we come back. We'll take a time out here. The Nate Kilbert program will start in 30 seconds on the Braves Sports Network.
Black men are the most likely Americans.
Here at Alcorn, we understand that we share some commonalities with one another. So in some ways, we're already family.
Seeing everybody, seeing more people that looked like me and had the same mannerisms as me, it was fantastic.
The variety of people here really made me feel at home.
When I stepped on campus, it felt like I was supposed to be here.
When they say the grass is greener here, they really mean it.
Braves Sports Network. We have back-to-back coaches shows on this Tuesday. I hope everyone is staying warm, staying safe, staying dry, and staying out of the snow. As I'm sitting here, not a drop of rain, not a flake of snow, but to my friends, 2.5 hours from where we are, 9 inches of snow in Baton Rouge, plenty of snow in New Orleans, plenty of snow in Houston. Nate Kilbert got out of town. The Lady Braves got out of town. And I just barely got out of town. Houston is shut down. Coming up, we have Braves basketball this weekend and on Monday, and we'll talk about the Houston trip with the Lady Braves head coach, Nate Kilbert. You can join the conversation, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-301-2611 on X Tallman Radio. Tough trip for the Lady Braves as they lost to Texas Southern in Prairie View. No Destiny Brown. Those folks are just kind of catching up on that bit of news. So we'll catch up on that. We'll talk about Texas Southern and Prairie View and the schedule change for this upcoming week. We'll get to that after this 1-minute timeout. We'll be right back with the Nate Kilbert Show on the Braves Sports Network.
In schools, Alcorn, we understand that we share some commonalities with one another. So in some ways, we're already family.
Seeing everybody, seeing more people that looked like me and had the same mannerisms as me, it was fantastic.
The variety of people here really made me feel at home.
When I stepped on campus, it felt like I was supposed to be here.
When they say the grass is greener here, they really mean it.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome you back to the Nate Kilbert program here on the Braves Sports Network. Charles Edmond, our producers, Jamario Brooks and Cedric Tillman. Lady Braves head coach Nate Kilbert on the Nate Kilbert program. Coach Kilbert, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, Charles. Doing good.
One schedule change, and we want to get this out of the way right off the bat. This game Thursday will not be played because of weather. We will play 2 doubleheaders coming up Saturday and Monday. So FAMU on Saturday at the Whitney Arena, the usual times, 1 and 3. But then on Monday, Bethune-Cookman will be in 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So that is the change. And look, we had to make change yesterday, playing the game, our men's game at Prairie View at 1 o'clock. They could have played it at noon, to be honest with you, so we get out of town. But we'll take 1 o'clock. We got out of town. But obviously, some pretty nasty snow. My friend in Baton Rouge, 8 inches of snow in Baton Rouge. I saw a post on X, someone flying into New Orleans just to see the snowstorm in New Orleans because they don't get it that much. Down in Galveston, the beaches. And obviously we've had to make a change because the Florida teams are coming this way. So, Coach, talk about that. Good communication, I think, between you and FAMU's coach, our AD, Dwayne Robinson, FAMU officials and Bethune officials, just everyone getting on the same page as far as the schedule is concerned.
Yeah, I think our administration really did a good job of staying in contact with Bethune administration and the coaches talking, deciding to move the game. to Monday because we didn't want to put anybody at risk because neither team had a game on Monday, so it was perfect, really. So why take the chance of trying to have someone dealing with that weather coming down here, icy roads and all that different stuff, just to play a basketball game when you can move the game to Monday and be away from all of that. And I thought our administration did a real good job of handling that. We got it done in a timely fashion. That was a good thing about it. Wasn't like they was on their way, and then we all of a sudden we decided to change the game. So we got the message out, we got the word out, and everybody is happy with the game being on Monday.
When did the process start? When did the thoughts start? Because I talked with our AD yesterday, and it was just a thought. He said it was kind of ramping up yesterday. How long did it take for all that to come together?
Well, with the coaches, it's actually ramping up with us on Sunday. Because we were thinking about the weather itself, and we know we got a game, and on Thursday, we thinking about the teams got to get here and they got to practice, and we got to practice and all that stuff. It'd have been hard for us to kind of prepare for the game, dealing with bad weather. If the weather was, weather didn't turn out as bad as we thought in our area, but it was still, it's cold and it still was tough. But I thought. I think our administration really started thinking about it on Monday. I
Yeah.
think there was a big conversation about it and really wanted to get it moved, just for safety reasons because the school was closed on today. So I think it was perfect. Gave both teams the opportunity to be able to prepare for the game, which will be on Monday now.
Well, I guess the one caveat about this Thursday deal is the fact that there's some flexibility in this. Don't know how long this Thursday Saturday thing is going to go as far as the women are concerned. It's been talked about all throughout the conference, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But the one flexible aspect of it is that you can move some things around and can make it a doubleheader if need be, if a situation comes up. So hey, one tough situation on one, but there's always a silver lining, and this is one of those.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's perfect that we could actually move the game to Monday and it'd be a double hitter game with the guys. But on the same page, the guys actually could, if something happened with weather, they actually could move their game to Thursday and still play a double hitter game. But I think people just so used to us playing on Saturdays and Mondays, it's really simple for them. It was a simple move for us, to be honest with you. We're really going right back to what we were doing last year, so it's nothing unusual to us. So I just think it was perfect. We had the opportunity to do it, and I think it's gonna work out good for both sides.
So once again, for those who just joining us, no game on Thursday. Saturday, FAMU, the usual 1-3 tip-offs for the women and for the men. But on Monday, 3-5, Bethune-Cookman will be in for 3-5 tip-off. So doubleheaders on Saturday and Monday. Folks who love the doubleheaders will get a chance to get a couple of them in the next week or so. Lady Braves head coach Nate Kilbert on the Nate Kilbert program. Coach, a tough week in Houston at Prairie View. We'll get into that here in a moment. But for those who are just kind of catching up, and a lot of people might not know the news from the program, obviously, no Destiny Brown. And some people are just now finding out about that. And I know it's been tough. It was a tough 2 games in Houston. So kind of whatever you can tell us about it, bring us up to date. I know the last game we did, the way that you worded it, you left the door ajar, not wide open, but ajar, maybe that there's a possibility of a return. So let's start at the beginning and how we got to where Destiny Brown is not a part of this team, and will she be a part of this roster going forward?
Well, anytime a kid has things going on with her to where she walk out of practice and take a absence from the team, there's always a chance that she could possibly back. And we'll never close the door on that because she is a young individual who might be dealing with things that we don't even know about. But at the same time, I have 13 more individuals that I have to prepare and get ready and get focused for game time. But the door is always open dealing with Destiny. I hadn't had a conversation with her about a time limit or anything, even if she intends on trying to come back. We hadn't had that kind of conversation. So I'm sure down the road somewhere we probably will, but as of right now, we have not had it because I've been focused on with the group that we have. I know there's a lot of work to be done with this group, but right now, we giving her space. To be honest with you, giving her the opportunity to do whatever, deal with whatever she need to deal with. This is not the first time this has happened with Destiny. Just a lot of our fans don't understand some of the things that goes on with some of these kids. And there's been plenty of time Destiny has actually took a break away from the team. Missed practices, not necessarily games, but she has missed practices. So hopefully, whatever it is, she'll get herself together, and maybe we can talk and we can move forward. If not, we're prepared to go along with what we have.
Yeah, and I know that's tough. I mean, because she just coming off last week SWAC Player of the Week, 20 and 10. I mean, just we saw the Destiny Brown that we know that we can see on a night in and night out basis how she can carry this team. And so it's just unfortunate that it happened when it did, especially coming off the role that she's been on. So we'll see how that evolves as time rolls along. But speaking of time, the time on this Houston trek with Texas Southern and Prairie View. The adjustments you had to make quickly, Coach, without her. I know you have to deal with the players that you got. What were the biggest adjustments you had to make without Destiny Brown being on the roster, just in terms of the way the team plays, the way it defends, getting up and down the floor? I mean, if there's a lot that you had to adjust in a short period of time.
Yeah, the biggest area with Destiny not being with us hurt us that is scoring wise. Now someone else has got to step up what they're doing for is scoring wise. And who's that person's going to be on a given night, and the consistency of the scoring. We got to have somebody who can pick up those 13, 14 points a game that she gives us, and we got to have somebody do the same thing with the rebounding part. Some of the things on the we have gotten better probably on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to certain things that we like to do, especially out of our pressure defense. So we're really not hurting in that area when we're trying to run our press, but we're hurting off the boards and off the scoring. Destiny is a great passer. We don't have anyone, I think, at her position that can pass the ball. So she makes our offense run a little smoother, so I think that helps people to be able to score. Uh, so those are some of the biggest areas I would say was scoring, rebounding, and the ability to pass to make certain passes out of our offense. And just to be that threat. We may have some kids who can do some of the things that she does, but they still not that threat that she is. That makes the game easier for everybody else on the team. And once we get to that point where we have someone else at that position who can make the game a little easier for some of the other kids, and I think it'll be easier for the team to be able to do certain things. Our biggest problem now is we're not scoring the way we need to score, and not saying we're not getting the shots that we think we can make, because we are. We'll get some very good shots, and we think some of the people that's taking these shots should be making more of them. And I just think this got to come with more time, though. They're not used to taking as many shots maybe now because Destiny's not there anymore to take some of those shots. So other people are taking more shots now. We're just not making enough of them. We're missing too many shots around the basket. And I think these are shots as time go along, these our kids will start to make. But it's just, when you hit with that maybe two games before you play a game, it's kind of difficult to make that adjustment right away. And I think as time go along, we'll start to do a better job of making that adjustment when it comes to the things that we need to do and the expectation of from the coaches for some of the other players now that Destiny's not playing, because that means that Cheatham has to be her normal self, which she has not been when it comes to rebounding, when it comes to scoring. That means Zanaya White has to really step her game up. And if you really look at it, those are really the two that really hadn't stepped their game up like we know they're going to. Because the other kids have been okay. I mean, EK Polo has been pretty good. Leah Houston has been pretty good in replacement of Destiny. Mike Claytor has played pretty good in these two games. Janae Anderson. Most of the kids have really stepped their game up. It's just White and the kids. Cheatham has not really played up to what we know they're capable of doing, and we need that in order for us to be successful, especially without Destiny.
Well, let's look at the first game on the Texas swing, Coach. Prairie View, 62-52. You look at Prairie View, they've had their struggles, but they've had their good moments as well. When you look at Amari Williams and C.J. Wilson, Michaela Hutchison, Casey Chairs, and Aisha Thompson, as you're looking at some of the highlights there, what was the biggest challenge in defending this team? We got off to a slow start. It was 13-4 at the end of the first quarter, so a shaky start, but we were able to tie the game at halftime.
Yeah, I think our biggest problem, we would have still had this problem even if we had Destiny, is always trying to defend a bigger post. We hadn't been a great team when it comes to defending bigger posts like Williams, and that we knew that was going to be one of our biggest tasks, was trying to slow her down a little bit, which I thought we did a decent job against her when she was in the game. Even though she only missed one shot, she was 6 for 7, but because of the way we was playing, she didn't really get a chance to play a lot because we was pressing so much. We forced them to turn the ball over a lot, trying to make plays through her. But we knew we was going to have that issue for us trying to keep her off the board because she's so big, trying to keep her from messing our offense up because she's just sitting in the middle of the paint, really not coming out to check anybody. That's when you need someone who can hit that elbow shot consistently because she's not going to come out and play that shot. So that was the really one player who created a lot of problems for us. Even though that she didn't play the amount of minutes that she probably would have played if we wouldn't have been pressing so much, but she still was to me the different in the game. Is her presence and her size, and like I said, she still would have been that person even if Destiny had played because she'd always given us problems. Even last year, even with Destiny there, we would have to still do some of the things that we did with her, with Destiny. Uh, Even without her, we would still have to do some of the same things, and I think pressure a lot, put a lot of pressure in the game, and forced them to take her out of the game, which we did. Our problem is we're not consistent enough in quarters. We're just not starting quarters well, and we're not closing quarters. And we got to get better at being consistent in scoring. And we get the opportunities, and we getting good opportunities. We're just not consistent in making these baskets until we become a better open shot makers and layup makers. We're gonna always struggle with or without Destiny. We have to make our open shots. We have to make those layups that we'll get it. We have to make those shots right around the bucket. We're missing too many of them. And you're not gonna beat anybody, not just Prairie View or Texas Southern. And you're not gonna beat anybody doing that. And we have to do a better job of focusing and locking in on making our open shots and making our easy layups. It's simple. And I think if we do that in both of those games, we have a great chance of winning both of those games. Because even as well as Texas Southern played against Jackson State, I really thought that they was good for picking against us. They didn't really play that great against us. They stood around a lot. We got just about everything we wanted. We just wasn't finishing plays. If we had been finishing plays in that game, we would have won it. And we just wasn't consistent enough in the Prairie View game in quarter number two. I mean, in quarter number one, and in the beginning of quarter number three. If we did a better job in those two quarters of finishing plays and making plays, we would have won that game. But you can't expect kids who are just really starting to get a whole lot of playing time to do some of those things. But like I said, those wasn't the kids to me that was missing those shots. It was our kids that we expected from. Like the Whites and the Cheatham, we expect for them to be able to finish plays, and they just not making enough of those plays for us. But I think as time go along, they're going to get back to their usual form of rebounding and finishing plays. Because once those two start to play, and the kids that's playing, switching out for Destiny and stuff, and playing more minutes now, if they continue to play the way that they are playing, our team can't do anything but improve.
Well, the third quarter was 20-9. We were outscored 20-9, and we were down by 11 going into the fourth quarter. We actually cut it to 5 midway through the fourth quarter. And so in that game, as we're looking at some of the TSU highlights for a moment there, but in that fourth quarter, Coach, we cut it to 5, and then a defensive lapse 4-3, and they were up 8, and they kind of pulled away after that. So we're playing hard enough in spots and well enough at spots, but it's just a consistency that we're looking for.
Charles, you're absolutely right, and that play you're talking about, Charles, that was a huge play. For us to lose a shooter like that, and that's been one thing that we've been doing a lot of in these last two games is when it was crunch time, we're making plays that we shouldn't be making on the defensive side of the ball. We're losing people who we know are great shooters. And that kid that hit that three on us, she was the scouting report. That's all we talked about was her. Making sure she don't get a lot of open looks. You know what I mean? We want to make sure we had a hand in her face on an area, a shot attempt that she made. And I just thought, I think we just got too caught up into worrying about Williams. That's what I was talking about. Williams' presence right there. Her presence in the game makes it easier for some of her teammates. And I thought we got too caught up to her because the ball was way on the opposite side of the floor, and it got skipped all the way to the other side of the floor for her to shoot the three. So that means you had to be a long way off of her for her to get that wide open. So I think it's just where somebody lost their man on that particular play.
62-52 the final. Coach Maya Clador had 3 triples. I thought we did a good job from beyond the arc. We were 3 of 16 from beyond the arc, but they played a zone. We made them pay a little bit from shots from beyond the arc. But at the end of the day, it was just a tough loss, being shorthanded. But we played hard throughout. So now you got 2 days later, you play Texas Southern, a team that is clearly the surprise to a lot of people who follow this conference. When you talk about SWAC women's basketball, the story was, can Jackson State continue to be Jackson State with Margaret Richards, the first-year head coach? They lost to Texas Southern, but clearly they're the story. And right now, this Texas Southern women's team is the story right now. We went down there and 70-48, the final score. What disappointed you about that game, Coach? What pleased you and what disappointed you about it? 70-48, considering we had our chances against Prairie View.
Well, I think what was disappointing about the game was the fact that we still we still got so many opportunities against them. So many opportunities to make open shots against them. And I'm not talking about no long 3-point shots. I'm talking about 12 and 8-foot jump shots. I'm talking about stuff right around the basket. The same problem that we had against Prairie View, we had the same problem against Texas Southern, finishing plays. Because to me, Texas Southern is not a great defensive team. They stand around a lot. Because they want you to shoot the ball fast, you know what I mean, so they can get it and get out. But they're not one of the greatest defensive teams. We got a lot of our good stuff against them. We're just not being consistent enough in scoring. And that's an area where we miss. We would miss. Des would make up for some of that, but she can't. She's still not gonna make up for all of that because that's why we was 1-2 with her, because we were still doing some of the same things we were doing now when it comes to missing stuff around the basket. We got to get better at that. We got to get better at finishing plays. We got to get better at getting those 50-50 balls. We got to get, and we talked to the team on yesterday about we just not tough enough right now. We're not tough when we need to be tough. And last year, going into those last 12 games, we got tough. We got tough on the defensive side of the ball. We got tough on the offensive side of the ball. We was making plays to the point where we was getting and ones. Now we're not even making the basket now. More or less talking about getting the and one. So we got to get back to that. Got to get back to where we're finishing plays and we're making these layups, and we got to get a little tougher on defense because I think teams are just scoring too many points on us, and we're a better defending team than what we're showing right now. But we just got to lock down and start being better defensively, and we got to start scoring. I think if we would score more, if we just make the shots that we know we're capable, I ain't asking us to do nothing that we're not capable of doing. But you have to make those little 12 and 10-foot jump shots. You have to make your layups, and we're just not doing that right now. So when we start doing that, you'll see the team start to get a little bit more confident, because I really think our people, our young people, our reserves are playing well. I mean, I wouldn't have, if you had told me that Maya Claytor was going to be shooting the ball the way she's shooting it now, you're going to tell me that Leah Houston was going to play the way she's playing now, I would tell you the team's going to have a hard time beating us without Destiny. If Cheatham, White, Henderson is playing good for us. She's doing, she's rebounding the ball good for us. She's hustling. She's not finishing plays like we know she's capable around the basket, even though I think she done got probably a double-double both games or close to it. But we still need, we're missing Cheatham and White, scoring wise and rebounding wise. Those are the two people that's missing, and they're not really defending like they did last year. Those two kids right there was our two stoppers, the two best players on the other team. We're gonna say get one of them, Cheatham and White. You get the other one. But they're not defending like that. So we got to get them back to defending the way they were. And and White, don't get me wrong now, she's not fully healthy. We know that, but she thinks she can defend better. We think she can defend better. Cheatham is just coming back. She took that mental break, so I don't really think she's really focused like she need to be. I think she's going to get there. She's starting to get herself back in practice a little bit, starting to do some of the things that we know she's capable of. But that's what we're missing right now. If our other kids just keep playing the way they're playing, and those two going to eventually come around. There's no big concern from me with those two. I'm just waiting for them to do it, and you'll see this team start to take off a little bit.
Well, the story against Texas Southern, the return of Charmaine Finley. She played 5:23. She had a field goal. It looked like, and we talked about it early on, just trying to find her rhythm. but as time went on, she seemed to get her confidence up under her a little bit.
Yeah, she can see, you can see, Charles. She's still kind of hesitant when Finley's hesitant about taking the attempt to shoot the ball. You know something's going on with her, and and I think that's more confidence right now. Trying to get used to whatever she's dealing with the back, the ankle. Just trying to get used to that. But that's something she'll get out of real quick. She's starting to practice a little bit more. She look a little bit better in practice now. It's just all a matter because we need her to score. We need her to be we need her to be Shemaine Finley. And that's somebody who can really put the ball in the basket. And then she's got to be when she come in the game, she's got to be looking to score, not pass. And when she start doing that and start looking to score and not pass, that's going to make the game a lot easier for someone else on the team. But the biggest thing with Shemaine is coming in the game with that killer instinct like she's always had in junior college and and everywhere she's been. I'm going to score. And so, but I could tell something is not right with because she's not talking like she normally talk. She was telling me on the ankle, bad ankle, that coach, I can get you 12 in 3 minutes if you just give me those 3 minutes. And she's not talking like that now, so I know it's something going on with her back. She ain't confident like she was in the beginning, but I think that's slowly going away too, because I think our training staff been doing a real good job with her, just getting her ready. Now she's got to get focused and get her mind back on what she's good at, and she's good at scoring the basketball. And the bad part about it, our fans haven't really seen it yet. But she hadn't really seen her ability to score the ball yet. So she's just got to get herself back, stay confident. We still believe in her. She's just got to get herself in better shape too. I think that's one of her biggest problems. She's not in the shape she need to be in to do the things that we're asking her to do. Because without being in great shape, and you talking about you a scorer, it's hard to do. It's hard to be a scorer when you're not in good shape. And she's not in the shape she need to be in, but she's slowly but surely working her way back towards being in good shape.
Well, Coach, we got less than 2 minutes left here. We're 1-4 right now. 1-2 at home, and then the 2 games in Texas. We're 1-4. 2 critical games, I think. We're approaching the third of the way of the season. 2 critical games. The top 10 teams make it, but we need to get these 2 at home to get ourselves back on track, beginning with Florida A&M and, of course, Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, Charles, we need to position ourselves. You know what I mean? Because every game now is important, but these 2 games are more important for positioning. Just getting yourself where you ain't at the end battling, trying to get in the top 10. You know what I mean? We need to win these 2 so we can kind of give ourselves some space. From Valley and Pine Bluff. That's what you're looking at now. You try to give yourself some space for them because Valley and Pine Bluff both teams are playing well. And now we can win these 2 games at home. That kind of gives us a little space to be able to now, okay, go on the road and still a few. That's what we're looking at trying to do now. But we don't have to win but 1 game, Charles. And that's on Saturday. We win that 1 game on Saturday, we have to win 1 more game, Charles. 1 game, and that's on Monday. That's what we have to look at it as, 1 game at a time. And we don't need to win but 1 game. And let's focus on doing that. And then when the next game comes, it's still 1 game. That's what we talking now, 1 game at a time. And we just got to make sure we're doing the things we need to do.
Again, schedule change. No game on Thursday. Lady Braves and FAMU 1-3 doubleheader on Saturday, and then Monday Bethune-Cookman comes in 3-5. So no game this Thursday, as the Lady Braves have a couple of extra days, time to get it going, and hopefully they will. Coach, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the break, and we'll be talking to you this weekend.
All right, Charles. Thank you, man.
Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, Landon Bussey. We'll take a 3-minute timeout. Back in 3 minutes, we'll reset and bring you Braves head coach Landon Bussey as the Braves split on the Texas swing. Had to make some adjustments. Early start time yesterday. Had to get out of town. And we'll talk all about that when we come back. We'll be back in about 3 minutes with the Landon Bussey Show here on the Braves Sports Network. We'll be right back.
In school sports,